Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to walk you through exactly how to start an LLC in North Carolina. And trust me, it's actually much simpler than you might think. Whether you're planning to launch a local restaurant, start a consulting business, or kick off your first e-commerce venture, I'll break down everything you need to know to get your North Carolina LLC up and running. So, why should you consider forming your LLC in North Carolina? Well, there are actually quite a few compelling reasons that make the Tar Heel state an excellent choice for business owners. First and foremost, North Carolina has one of the most business-friendly environments in the Southeast. You see, the state has been consistently ranked among the top states for doing business, and there's a good reason for that. The state government has really focused on creating an ecosystem that supports entrepreneurs and small business owners. Now, let's talk about the cost factor because this is huge. North Carolina's LLC filing fees are actually quite reasonable compared to many other states. While some states might charge you $500 or more just to file your paperwork, North Carolina keeps things much more affordable. The thing is, they want to encourage business formation, not create barriers to entry. But you know what's really interesting? The state's strategic location is another major advantage. You see, North Carolina sits right in the sweet spot along the East Coast, positioned perfectly between the Northeast and Southeast markets. This means you've got access to major transportation networks, including international airports and seaports, which is fantastic if you're planning to do any kind of shipping or traveling for business. Now, before we dive into the actual formation process, let's talk about one of the most important decisions you'll make: choosing your business name. And honestly, this is where a lot of people get stuck. First things first, your LLC name needs to be unique in North Carolina. But what does that actually mean? Well, it means that no other business registered in the state can have exactly the same name or something so similar that it might confuse people. For example, if there's already a Carolina Craft Brewing LLC, you probably couldn't register Carolina Craft Brewing Company LLC. They're just too similar. You'll also need to include some form of limited liability company in your name. You can use the full phrase limited liability company, or you can go with abbreviations like LLC or LTD, limited liability company. Most people I've noticed tend to go with the simple LLC. It's clean and professional. Here's a pro tip. Before you get too attached to a name, you should definitely check if it's available. You can do this really easily using North Carolina's Secretary of State business search tool online. I actually recommend making a list of 3 to 5 potential names before you start searching, just in case your first choice isn't available. Speaking of important decisions, let's talk about your registered agent. This is something you absolutely need to have in North Carolina, and it's actually more important than most people realize. Now, I highly recommend using a professional service like Northwest Registered Agent for this role. They're experts at what they do, and you can find a special discount link for their services in the description and pinned comment below. The thing is, while you could technically be your own registered agent, there are some pretty good reasons why you might not want to. You see, a registered agent needs to be available during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, to receive legal documents. They also need to have a physical street address in North Carolina. No P.O. box is allowed. And here's something people often don't think about. If you're your own registered agent, your home address becomes public record. That's why using a service like Northwest Registered Agent can be such a smart move. They handle all this professionally while keeping your personal information private. Speaking of professional services, if you want to make this whole process super easy, I really recommend checking out Taylor Brands. They can handle everything for you, from name registration to being your registered agent, and you'll find a discount link for their services in the description and pinned comment as well below. Now, let's talk about the next crucial step in forming your North Carolina LLC. Now, let's dive into filing your articles of organization, which is really the heart of forming your LLC in North Carolina. The articles of organization is basically your LLC's birth certificate. You'll need to file this with the North Carolina Secretary of State, and there are a couple of ways to handle this. The easiest route? Well, I definitely recommend using Taylor Brands. They'll prepare and file everything for you, plus handle all the little details that are easy to miss. You can find a discount link for their services in the description and pinned comment below. If you're filing yourself, you'll need to pay a filing fee of $125. The form asks for basic information like your LLC name, principal office address, and registered agent details. One thing that trips people up sometimes is the execution section. Make sure you have an authorized person sign it, which could be any member or organizer of the LLC. Now, here's something really important. While North Carolina doesn't legally require an operating agreement, you absolutely should have one. Think of it as your LLC's rule book. Your operating agreement should spell out things like how profits are divided, who makes major decisions, and what happens if someone wants to leave the business. Even if you're running a single member LLC, this document helps establish your business as a separate legal entity. The next big step is getting your EIN, Employer Identification Number, from the IRS. You know how you have a social security number? Well, this is basically the same thing for your business. Getting an EIN is actually pretty straightforward, and best of all, it's completely free. You can apply online through the IRS website, and usually you'll get your number right away. You'll need this to open a business bank account, hire employees, and handle your taxes properly. So, here's something that often catches new business owners off guard. Depending on your type of business, you might need specific licenses or permits to operate legally in North Carolina. For example, if you're opening a restaurant, you'll need health permits. Running a construction company, you'll need contractor license. The requirements really vary by industry and location, so it's worth checking with your local city and county offices to make sure you're covered. Now, let me share some common pitfalls I've seen people run into when forming their North Carolina LLC. First, a lot of folks forget to maintain their registered agent information. If your agent's address changes or you switch agents, you need to file an update with the state right away. And speaking of Taylor Brands, they offer registered agent services as part of their package, and you can find that discount links in the description below. Another big mistake is mixing personal and business finances. The moment you get that EIN, head straight to the bank and open a separate business account. Trust me, your future self will thank you when tax season rolls around. Once your LLC is up and running, there are a few ongoing requirements to keep in mind. North Carolina requires you to file an annual report every year due by April 15th. The filing fee is $50, and you can submit it online through the Secretary of State's website. If you make any significant changes to your LLC, like changing your business address or adding new members, you'll need to file the appropriate forms with the state to keep your records current. Starting an LLC might seem overwhelming at first, but it's totally manageable when you break it down into these steps. If you want to save yourself some time and headache, I really recommend checking out Taylor Brands. They'll handle all the paperwork and make sure everything's filed correctly. Remember, you can find that discount link in the description and pinned comment below. And hey, if you're feeling a bit uncertain about any of this, don't worry, that's completely normal. The most important thing is to take action and get started. Whether you choose to go the DIY route or work with a formation service, the key is to move forward with your business dreams. Thanks for sticking with me through this guide. If you found it helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more business tips and tutorials. And definitely drop any questions you have in the comments. I'm always happy to help. Good luck with your new business venture.